All right, how's everybody doing today? Just a quick announcement, if there is anybody hearing impaired, we do have a sign language interpreter here. If anybody would like to come to the front, you're more than welcome to do so now. So, my name is Joel Gessner. I'm here with Rocky Mountain Pro. We are here doing Reinventing Wrestling for the Twitch era today. Do some introductions here really quick. To my left here, we got Mercury Matt Yaden, CEO, coach, and talent for Rocky Mountain Pro, as well as the CEO for Mercury Pro Wrestling Academy. You want to say something?
How's everybody doing today? Thanks for coming out. There we go. How was that?
Woohoo!
That was good.
That was solid. Good start. Good start, Matt.
All right, thank you.
CEO of the company, everybody.
Yeah. That's why I'm at the top.
Awesome. Next, to his left, we got Austin Reddick, new VP of Rocky Mountain Pro, as well as coach and talent.
Actually, while we were sitting here, Matt promoted me to president.
He's the president.
Just because it sounds more official, and then maybe these people will take me seriously.
Can I get a promotion too?
No.
All right. And then to his left, we got Jason Sorensen, VP of Production for CEG Entertainment.
Hey there, guys. So CEG Entertainment Group, Rocky Mountain Pro is one of our clients, and we are helping them essentially reinvent wrestling for the live streaming era, for you, for Twitch. And this is something that, if you think about it for a moment, this couldn't have happened before live streaming, before Twitch. This is going to be a major reinvention of this genre, and it's starting right now.
Also, I'm glad we didn't have to follow him.
Yes, that was much better than what I said.
Right.
You're the new CEO of Rocky Mountain Pro.
So do I get chokeslammed through a table first, or what's the hazing ritual for that?
We'll figure it out.
Wait till Chongo gets here.
Oh, God.
And speaking of Chongo, not appearing just yet, we do have Chongo Bronson, talent here at Rocky Mountain Pro. You'll know when he gets here, definitely. We also have joining us Tremaine Island, also talent here at RMP. We'll be getting to them here in just a few moments.
Chongo's probably out choke slamming people right now.
Not probably, likely.
Yeah,
very likely.
For those of you who were on the show floor a little bit earlier and you saw, a man walking around in a big leather jacket and no shirt shouting at everyone.
Yeah,
There we go. That's why
he will be in here shortly.
Yes.
Our hype man will be back. All right, so to give you guys a little bit of history about us, a little bit of a brief rundown of the history of NRW, Mercury Pro Wrestling Academy, Rocky Mountain Pro, and our adventures with Twitch. New Revolution Wrestling is where we started out, our roots of Rocky Mountain Pro. Mercury Matt Yaden, do you want to speak on that a little more?
Yeah, so this all actually started in a living room in 1999 when I met a bunch of guys that were professional wrestlers. I didn't watch a lot of wrestling growing up. Like, I knew about wrestling, but I was a huge baseball fan, so I wanted to play Major League Baseball. That's what I grew up, idolizing those guys. So I didn't really watch a lot of wrestling, but I met some guys when I was 17, and my wrestling season had just ended, and I started hanging out with them, and I took a spear on a living room floor without having any clue what I was doing, and I fell in love with it right away. So that company, that promotion, I gotta air quote everything at that point. They were called No Rules Wrestling, NRW. So they got me into it in 2001. I got officially trained, and we were running NRW shows at that point. So in 2010, when I decided to start my own promotion after 9 years of doing it, I wanted to bring the initials back, but No Rules Wrestling didn't make any sense because we had rules. So we went with New Revolution Wrestling, and that's kind of where that name at that point came from. It was my way of kind of continuing on the name of the place that kind of got me into wrestling. So, 2010, our first event was at Dakota Ridge High School in Littleton, Colorado, and I had no idea what I was doing, but I decided I didn't like the way the scene was and the kind of climate in Colorado, so I was going to give it a shot myself, and that's kind of where it all began.
And also kind of where we're at now.
Yeah, right.
All right. And then going off through the roots of RMP, we have the Mercury Pro Wrestling Academy, the school of RMP, where a lot of us train and get the knowledge and...
Whoa!
Oh, boy.
There they are.
It's called Pro Wrestling Pair without Chongo. Chongo don't wear a watch, but Chongo knows what time this thing starts.
Calm down, Chongo.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chongo's in the house.
You have a seat. I have a seat. Seat.
If you know what time it starts, why weren't you here on time?
Chongo is a man of the people. Chongo had to let the nerds know where the conference was going on so we could get some nerds on their little twiddly-doo Twitter boards so they could start talking about it on the interwebs, because Chongo don't internet. How you doing, boss?
Chongo Bronson, everybody, host of the Chongo Don't Show.
All right, so this is Chongo Bronson.
If you didn't
as
know,
you
that is Chongo Bronson.
may have heard, and doing a lot of the tech. He's wrestling with it, in fact. Tremaine Island here.
Shout out to my producer, Dr. Trey. Make some noise, nerds! That's right. Microphone check.
You gotta lean into it.
Who here thinks Chongo doesn't need a microphone?
Or caffeine.
Very sorry to the sound people. All right.
All right, you ready to continue, Joel?
So where were we? Oh yeah, the School of Rocky Mountain Pro, Mercury Pro Wrestling Academy. This is where a lot of the students train, get their knowledge to be professional wrestlers, referees, ring announcers, pretty much anything in professional wrestling. We can help you realize those dreams.
So we started the school, NRW in 2010. I had the great fortune of moving to Nashville, Tennessee in 2012. I was able to work in talent relations at TNA Impact at that point. And when I came back in 2013, I decided I wanted to get into training, and I'd learned a lot while I was there, so I figured that Colorado needed a really good, consistent, solid school. So we started the Mercury Pro Wrestling Academy. Late 2013, we got the ball rolling. 2014 is when we officially opened, as we are now. But the training actually started a little bit before that while I was still in Tennessee. I believe it was around February, March of 2013. We started running training there with NRWs. So that's kind of how the school started, and it's kind of evolved into what it is now. We're at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds in Golden, Colorado. We're inside of an arena. We have a setup where the ring stays up. We're going to, we run our TV tapings out of there. We run weekly training out of there, multiple days per week. So it's evolved into quite the operation from where it started in 2013. So it's pretty awesome.
And just to correct you really quick, you said TV tapings, but that's not going to be taped for much longer.
Oh yes.
Yeah, if you want to go and let the people know.
Yeah, so I guess while we're talking about it, so the beauty of the training school is, again, that's where we were taping television out of, and everything kind of stays up. We have our own production in this arena there in Golden. So starting January 3rd, we're very excited to announce that we are going to start running Charged, which is our main television show. It's now going to be live every Thursday night on Twitch. It'll be 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain Time. So pretty cool. So every Thursday, very few places run weekly TV, let alone weekly live TV. So the whole reinventing wrestling for the Twitch era, like we want to be right in the front of that and doing everything we can. And this was our way of really kind of jumping out there and throwing everything we had at it. So January 3rd, log on at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Watch some live pro wrestling. One
really cool item that we do want to point out with this slide, by the way, with regards to the Wrestling Academy. Who here remembers, I think it was 2005, turning on Spike TV and seeing The Ultimate Fighter for the first time? Who remembers that? Show of hands. Yeah? Now, I don't know about you guys. The only time I'd ever heard of UFC prior to that was, I remember like one of their early events where it was like, wow, okay. And The Ultimate Fighter on Spike TV reinvented the UFC. You got to know the fighters. You got to follow them as they trained and as they grew. That formula is now being applied to Twitch, where the Mercury Wrestling Pro Academy, you get to see these wrestlers as they train. I used to watch, y'all remember WCW Nitro back in the 90s? I remember watching that and seeing the ads for the Power Plant. You guys remember the Power Plant? Now, at the time I was watching this, I was a teenager, very skinny. I thought, man, wouldn't it be cool to be a wrestler? And then I saw that little bit of it, and I see men like this, and I'm like, I will get killed, But I still wanted to see. I still wanted that peek inside. Well, these guys are doing it. They're actually live streaming from the Wrestling Academy. If you have ever been curious about what it's like to train and actually become a wrestler in the sports entertainment industry, to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, nobody's ever tried this before. Nobody's ever tried live streaming a wrestling training program, a wrestling academy. This is something that's specific to Twitch. Seriously, Rocky Mountain Pro is extremely invested in Twitch.
So it's imagine if you took the Ultimate Fighter and you're getting to know these people while they're training, you get to see them wrestle, but you could also during the show just tell one of the fighters you think they suck. You could do that to Chongo from a safe distance.
Chongo don't recommend you try that, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't advise it. I'm just saying you could if you like to gamble.
Check 1, 2.
All right, good.
It's on. It's working.
All right.
Back to Joel.
So that was a school of Rocky Mountain
Actually,
Pro.
really quick, Joel, like not to cut you off. One thing I just, while we're talking about Twitch and where this is going with the wrestling business in regards to the Mercury Pro Wrestling Academy, the fact that we're so integrated with Twitch that we're here on this panel right now, that's a part of a wrestling education that no other school is going to be able to provide their students. That is going to be just invaluable going forward in this business. Like, it's moving away from TV. You can run live events, you can have like good matches and stuff, but learning as part of that wrestling education to produce this kind of stuff, to actually get yourself out there, is something that's going to be very unique to the Mercury Pro Wrestling Academy that you're not going to find anywhere else.
Absolutely. And so, after we were NRW, we became Rocky Mountain Pro. And bringing us up here today, we have, you want to talk a little bit about how we became Rocky Mountain Pro and to the present?
We decided one day to change our name to Rocky Mountain Pro.
Short, sweet.
Very deep. As we, so we had an opportunity in 2016. Vince Russo had come on to write for us June of 2016, and as him and I had discussions about the name, you know, NRW to me meant a lot, and it meant a lot to those of us that had built the place. But we were trying to be objective at looking like what's the name look like outside of our circle. It's a solid enough name, but it's 3 initials with a W in it, and it was. Everything is W something 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 W something or something something W.
WWW.
The fact that they're laughing shows you made a wise choice.
Right, yeah. So, and it wasn't as memorable. So, like, if I were to talk to you guys about NRW and you'd walk out of here and you probably would have, what was that, NWR, or what was the name of that, or what were the initials, or, you know, New Revolution Wrestling, even if you extended it out, it's like, okay, that sounds like every other new promotion that started, and what's the revolution, you know? So we were trying to think of names that kind of fit with where we were. So I remember Russo calling and just saying, hey, when I look out of my window every morning, I see the Rocky Mountains. And he goes, I've lived here for, I think it was like 12 years by that point. And he's like, and it still blows me away every morning. Like, the Rocky Mountains are so powerful. You know, they're amazing. So why don't we do something with the Rocky Mountains? And, you know, within Colorado, there's a lot of Rocky Mountain this and altitude this, but in the wrestling world, there wasn't. So for people outside of our sphere, we had signed a national TV deal at that point, and that's where we were wanting to really rename it. And we wanted something where people outside of Colorado could, once they saw it, they knew exactly where it was coming from. So I just decided I don't want wrestling in the name. So when you do make the initials, it's something that RMP, you're going to remember that more than something W. So Rocky Mountain Pro became the official name. I thought it sounded strong. It represented where we were. And that way, when you see RMP and then wrestling below it, it's not redundant. Because, you know, sometimes you'll see something with the W in it, and it'll be this W wrestling, which if you said it all out, you'd say wrestling twice. So that's kind of some of the reasons that we decided to change the name, and it was for branding and for, you know, just memorability, I guess. And we sit here now as Rocky Mountain Pro, and it was one of the smartest decisions I think we made. It's much stronger name.
Absolutely. And then,
I'm glad Joel agrees. You get that? Absolutely. He's like, absolutely.
I do want to point out, by the way, doing the tech show running for a production like this, and this is something that I think is going to be touched on a little bit further in, introduces layers of complication that you can't imagine, because You are doing it live, and you are live streaming, and you have to interact with the audience. Making all the hamster wheels work behind the scenes. I just want to give a quick shout out to Joel, especially since he just had an operation in one ear, and I don't know how the hell he's standing right now. So, yeah.
Don't tell my doctor.
Well, and we'll get Trey up here. You guys see Trey over here that was following Chongo around. He's he's supposed to be sitting up here answering questions with us. So we'll get you up here for the Q&A at least, right? But Trey works really hard. He's a tech guy. His show is Wrestling with Tech, and he streams it on the Rocky Mountain Pro page. And I think, he would agree with me, not just on how exciting this is, but like what he's learning and what we're all learning about how this works in this new world. It's a whole new venture for so many people. So there's a lot of people that have to come together to make this work. And guys like Joel and Trey are like unsung heroes in all of this. So it's pretty exciting. So I'll publicly thank Trey and Joel and everybody that's putting this together. Jason, like it's an ambitious effort that everybody's putting on, and we're honored to be a part of it. So, okay, Joel, you can keep talking.
So we were no strangers to TV. We've been on there a couple times, and we had Twitch land in our lap. And we were just starting up our KCDO Channel 3 TV tapings, and we're always strapped. We don't have a whole lot of resource available. Everyone just pulls in everything we can do, and we were thrown Twitch. And most of us know Twitch through the past years as where you stream video games and you play. And we were really excited because there was really no wrestling on Twitch before us, and the way that we're able to bring you the live interaction and feel like you guys are a part of everything really was something we weren't very familiar with. So it was just a great avenue to try to explore, and we like a challenge. We're not going to stray away from it. We're no strangers to failure, and no strangers to success either, but was definitely a challenge. And we started in May, and where we're at today has been paved with the blood, sweat, and tears of many, many talented and dedicated people.
I don't think Jason stops sweating when it comes to
As Robin Williams once said, most of the time I'm sweating like Elizabeth Taylor at a Chili's restaurant. Something to point out here. Y'all are Twitch users, same as us. How often do you go to the wrestling section on Twitch? All the time, right?
Yes, this guy right here. This guy.
Let's talk.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, now let's talk about this for a moment. The wrestling section on Twitch, all these additional sections that have come to Twitch. Why did they come to Twitch? Because of you. You wanted it. Now, when you create a section, let's look at the wrestling section as an example. I think there's well over 100,000 followers for the wrestling section. It's pretty brand new. There isn't a lot of content in there yet, so the concrete is still very moldable. That section exists because of you. This exists because of you. We are literally trying to reinvent wrestling for you. You sitting here, you watching at home. And that's not platitude. This isn't one way. Your feedback, what you put in the chat room, what you send in direct messages to these guys, directly impacts and shapes the evolution of this product. Now, to my knowledge, there is no other wrestling promotion that can say that offers this level of two-way interactivity. So it's here for you. We want you to be a part of it.
Can I say something on that?
No.
I wouldn't tell Chongo no.
All right. So to illustrate how serious what I'm about to say is, Chongo's going to take off his nerd repellent glasses and put on the professor glasses.
Professor Chongo.
So now, it is my understanding that part of the aspect of this new platform of Twitch is it's created a new means of interpersonal interaction with the company and the actual wrestlers and the fan base. If we simultaneously, while we're doing this Twitch thing, during the summer we were the #1 rated show on local TV in Denver. But there's a disconnect there. They sell advertising. Maybe that advertising translates into dollars from the people watching those ads going out and and purchasing the services and the stuff they see on the commercials. But what this allows, it takes the middleman out of the equation. You have the power to affect change for the product, for the creative, for the storyline. You have the ability to be heard by the brass of this company. And that is a really powerful thing. If you know anything about pro wrestling, it is the ultimate fan experience in that the fans have a unduplicated ability in any other sports entertainment medium to influence what they see in the moment. If the crowd is hot, if the crowd is cold, if the crowd wants to see that jabroni get his ass kicked, right? We're listening to that. And what this platform allows us to do is to take that middleman out of the equation and to better interact and better service the needs of our clients, of our customer base, of our fans. We hear you. We want to hear you. And this gives you the chance to be heard. So I really think that because of that, the way things are going, it used to be, correct me if I'm wrong, you're old like me, the old adage used to be, pro wrestling on TV was essentially a commercial to get people to your shows. But now what we have the ability to do with the internet, and again, Chongo don't internet, but from what I'm told by my
He knows a lot about the internet for a guy that does the internet.
Yes, well, I have a really, really strong collection of nerds and producers and people that tell Chongo what's going on. But
He means Trey.
yes, Trey. Shout out to Dr. Trey, people. That's my man right there. None of this would happen, at least on my end, without Trey. But the point I'm getting to is this. We have reached a new level of interaction and collaborative experience with the fan base because of the medium of Twitch to present our product to you guys. So we're all ears, man. Anything you guys have for us, we want to respond to the needs of our fan base. And I hope that we can blaze that trail going forward, and Rocky Mountain Pro can be that trailblazer and that example of optimizing and utilizing this new medium and new way to interact with the fans.
And just to pull the curtain back on that a little bit more, I'm actually the guy that writes everything you see on TV. So if it sucks, you can just DM me, Reddick RMP, and be like, man, push Chongo. We love that guy. And I'm gonna be like, I'm not getting anywhere near Chongo because he's dangerous. But that's really why I joined on with Rocky Mountain Pro and kind of took over this role. Is a lot of you, if you're wrestling fans, you've probably experienced the same frustrations of just basically being told, no, you're gonna like this week after week, watching a tone-deaf company that knows you're going to tune in no matter what. You're going to spend your $10 a month to watch the library. We don't really care. See, and I see people like laughing because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, right. They don't care, and they don't have to care because, again, I'm going to spend my $10 a month too because I want to go watch shows from the 80s and things like that. But being able to, week over week, have that feedback and have people reading that, and realize, and it doesn't mean that every message I get, I'm gonna be like, cool, we're gonna do this next week. But knowing what people want to see and giving them more of that, and not just pushing stuff for the sake of pushing it. And that's where really this integration with Twitch is reinventing wrestling, because you've never had that before. Like we're not a multi-billion-dollar company. We're like guys producing their own stuff, and it's awesome that there are no real gatekeepers of that anymore, that you can do that. But doing that in collaboration with a wrestling fan base that can tell us what they want to see, and that's something you're not going to find anywhere else. There's, like he said, the Twitch wrestling has over 100,000 followers, and there's a lot of wrestling on there. But there's not a weekly episodic like character and storyline driven show where you got a reason to like actually care about this stuff outside of just watching wrestling for the sake of wrestling. And to be able to produce that, as well as have the characters you see on that show producing their own shows, doing what, like, God knows what Chongo does on his show. I watch it and I still don't know what he does on his show.
He don't.
Like Matt and one of our guys, Curtis, sitting there playing old video games they couldn't beat as kids and going back trying to beat it now. Like we
don't beat them.
Yeah, and still can't beat them.
They still don't. But
it's hilarious.
Being able to watch them do that stuff, interact, like have those personal interactions with everyone on the roster is just a huge part of what we're doing going forward. And once we start our taping our weekly shows in January, allowing people to have a say, like putting polls out during the pre-show, like what stipulation do you want to see in this match? Who do you want to see in this match? You know, we're going to be able to showcase our students and let people vote on which one of the students they want to see on the actual show the next week. So the possibilities are endless, and just the integration with Twitch and all that, it's gonna open some huge, awesome doors in pro wrestling.
And on that note, like, I'm glad he said that, because like that live stream, the first hour from 7 Mountain to 8 Mountain is going to be the MPWA showcase. So it's actually going to be a Mercury Pro Wrestling Academy show. It won't be RMP charged. And that's where what he's talking about, where we're going to have a lot of students that are signing up. This, we got new people coming in constantly and waiting for their opportunity. Now they don't have to wait for the TV show to get that opportunity. Like, we can put them out there in front of you, and you can like watch them as they're still kind of training and get in front of a live audience, and then you can help push them to the TV show. So it's kind of a cool little tool where the fans have a lot more influence, and the people that are dedicated to watching this on Twitch, like, they get to see a lot of people before everyone else is going to get to see them as they start their careers. So you get to like see them from the very, very beginning, and I think that's very unique and something that's really cool that I've never seen before. So we're excited to bring that to you.
Well, pro wrestling from the beginning was about, you know, working off the feedback from your crowd and giving them what they want, but taking it away, giving them when you want them to have it, all that. And I think as TV grew and it went from being in local high school gymnasiums to these huge stadiums, and most of it going digitally, you lost that aspect to get that feedback from your crowd and build that into what you're doing. And yeah, the fact that Twitch is allowing us to bring that back to wrestling a little bit is huge.
To put this in context for a sec, who here, show of hands, who here has seen the wrestling documentary Controversy Creates Cash? Who's seen that? If you haven't seen it, totally need to watch it. Basically, it's the history of how the WCW went toe-to-toe with at the time, WWF. And the reason why that's important is twofold. First, if you take a look at the very early footage from Vern Gagne's promotion, and they had no budget, they had no production values, but at the time, and this is going back 25 years or more, I remember what, and this is covered in the documentary, what Eric Bischoff did is he said, all right, what is my competitor doing? They're taped, I'm going to do live. They're 2 hours, I'm going to do 3 hours. They go once a week, we're going to go twice a week. And I'm saying this as a wrestling fan. Who here remembers the Monday Night Wars 20 years ago? Right?
All these hands better be
right. Yeah. Now, personally, you might disagree. Personally, I think that was the high water mark of traditional sports entertainment. I don't think it's been equaled since then. And the reason is, from my perspective, and you may disagree, they're all basically following that same formula, and it's been a bit more watered down. And what you're seeing right here, right now, and I know this sounds ridiculously overblown, but I swear to God it's true. What you're seeing right now, here in this room, is you are seeing the foundation for the next major reinvention of this genre that is not going to start, it's not going to be limited just to this promotion, because these guys are becoming extremely successful with this, and that success breeds more success and copying and more innovation. And they're the tip of the spear, and you're here, and you're the first ones to enjoy it.
Homeboy cuts a hell of a promo. You want to join the Mercury Pro Wrestling Academy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, look at these muscles. Oh, God, I just pulled a groin.
So as they were saying, not only do you get to see wrestling, but you also get to interact with the talent on a different level. You get to see them play video games with Punished by Pixels, Up, Down, Tanking Back Sunday. We have like Wrestling with Tech. We have the Chongo Don't Show. We have all of these different ways that you can interact with our talent just beyond the wrestling. Get to know them, heckle them, whatever you'd like to do. Be part of the show. And we have over 15 shows going. The amount of people that we have doing this is just crazy, all on the one channel.
Yeah, who likes fantasy football? You guys all play fantasy football? Like, we have a couple guys that do the Smart Mark football. Mm-hmm. Like they're really knowledgeable about fantasy football. Yeah. and Corrente. It's Corrente and Jared, and they sit there and they go team by team, and they really know what they're talking about. And it's like on a pro wrestling channel, on a website built for video games, you've got fantasy football guys. Like it's very unique. Like it's not just wrestlers playing video games. Like it's across the board. You got Accelerating Shade, where she talks about
Healing
God knows what.
crystals and-
Yeah, like all sorts of
The
stuff.
Illuminati.
And chakra alignments.
There's so much stuff that you can honestly learn or be entertained by that's not just wrestling related, but it's coming to you from wrestling talent and personalities. So when Jason talks about the UFC, with the Ultimate Fighter, getting to know people, this is even deeper into getting to know them, because now you get to see what they're really into, which makes their character on screen, I think, that much more meaningful. So I just kind of wanted to put over the difference of the types of shows that you're going to see. It's very, very unique, and there's a lot of people putting a lot into this to put out to you what they're interested in. So it's pretty unique opportunity.
Well, and also the Mercury Pro Wrestling, right now the Mercury Pro Wrestling Academy has, 2 guys signed to WWE NXT right now, Lars Sullivan and Dozer. But imagine, as you start seeing these guys on that biggest stage in this business, but you remember back when they were trying to beat Super Mario at 3 a.m. on Twitch, that's a cool feeling. It's man, I'm so, you get to see their success from the ground up, but see so much of them outside of the ring. And I mean, you're still going to see their character work in the ring as well, but having these side shows and having our roster produce their own content, which we'll get into in a little bit as well, just managing that schedule and all that kind of stuff. But you get to see so much more of them. So when more guys and girls do get up to that bigger stage, you've seen them from the beginning, and you've seen them being real, not just out there yell. I mean, that is real. That is Chongo all the time. But you don't see him just yelling at an 11, all the time.
Yeah, and to co-sign on that real quick, if I can, just like Alex said, Chongo don't Clark Kent. This is who I am. 8 in the morning. This is who I am when I drop my son off at school and embarrass him by dabbing in the line and piss the boy off.
There is no off button.
But a lot of these talented performers have much more depth to who they are. And I'm going to use that to put my boy Trey over at the end of the panel. Let's give a hand to my boy, Dr. Trey. All right, so just a little background on my man, Trey. First of all, congratulations for winning the #1 contendership in your tag team EOE this weekend against Tough Guy Inc. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was a hard-fought battle.
Obviously, my man gets it done in the ring. But he also is the backbone of the technical side and the production side of what we do on the Chongo Don't Show. He's also taking his passion and his skill set with technology and combining it with pro wrestling, with his show, Wrestling with Tech. And I know that we're going to get into that stuff more later, but I wanted to put you over because you're my boy. And
I see you over there.
that's right. I love you. Oh, and
Thank you.
Special shout out to little Yaden. Oh! And for Roro too at home. Chongo Jr.
She
I
loves
just realized
Gavin.
we've been on the same slide for 10 years. We
Yeah.
should probably
So you hurry up.
I've been waiting. So, anyways, reinventing wrestling for the Twitch era. Getting a little bit of the meat and potatoes of this. Struggles. As I was saying, we just started doing TV at the time. It was really getting everything ramped up this summer, and then Twitch fell on our lap, and we. As I said, we like a challenge, and there was a lot of challenges that I don't know if a lot of other streamers or barely anyone in general has issues with. Like we have, as I said, 15 plus shows. We have almost 20, 30 people involved trying to use the same account and stream key, trying to do the scheduling for all of that, trying to make everything seamless for everybody was really hard. And with wrestlers aren't rich, at least we're not. So we use the resources we have. We put on the best production. We use the most quality equipment that we can. We tried putting it on there, but it was riddled with technical limitations and new pathways like the interactivity. How do we react with the fans? We're used to interacting with them face to face. Now we have to figure out how to interact them over the internet, not while we're wrestling, and trying to bring that into the promotion, Rocky Mountain Pro and MPWA, was definitely not without challenges. And I don't know if you guys wanted to touch on any of the
Yeah,
struggles we've
so-
had.
Not even just specifically any specifics like struggle, but I don't know how many of y'all have gone back and watched like the documentary about how they brought ECW together back in the day, and you know, they would tell stories about if you called to order a T-shirt, it would be like Bubba Ray Dudley answering the phone and packaging your T-shirt. So on a much like different level, but with Trey producing the Chongo Don't Show, getting everything set up. Like even last Friday, we had one of our bigger events of the year. Trey spent the afternoon getting the Twitch stream set up, getting their green screen, all that kind of stuff. And then he went out and wrestled a match. So like,
It was a
everyone you
lot.
see- everyone you see on the show, and like that's what we're doing differently, is we've got so many people that are doing double and triple duty and like everything that needs to get done as far as, you know, we do our own in-house production with who we have and what we have, and we get together. But one cool thing that, and I've wrestled all over the country, but one thing that's really different about Rocky Mountain Pro is how having to do all those kind of things and having to constantly put out fires that come up from those kind of things just brings everybody together. Like, it'll be, you know, the afternoon of people yelling at each other and getting stuff done, but after the show, like, it's all cool. We're glad we got through it, and we move on to the next one and stuff like that. So that's one really cool aspect of doing this, is just how much more you have to rely on each other and how that brings a company together, like getting this off the ground. Because when you put it in perspective, in 1993, WB launched Monday Night Raw. It was taped. We have better production value on a fraction of the budget in 2018. So like just being able to, like if you think about all that had to go into doing that, like we have like, you know, 25 people like trying to make all that happen and just kind of figuring it out as we go.
Live.
Yeah, starting in January, all that's happening live too.
Live. Can't wait for that.
There's a reason they taped it back then.
So yeah, so that was struggles getting, that was the not fun part. And then getting to the fun part, the strategies and how we're trying to reinvent wrestling in the Twitch era, trying to use bits as a voting mechanism, where people can vote on which matchups that they want, if they want a special guest referee, different types of weapons, all of those kind of things. You can have a say in how the card gets put out and who you want to see together in matchups. And it's not just, okay, here's the show. You actually get to kind of cultivate and grow the show and definitely be a part of it. And then we also have the color commentary. You get to interact not only with the announcers, but then soon with the wrestlers during the streams as well. We have, sorry. We have the ability to speak back out with you guys. You can give us heckles, cheers, ask questions. We definitely want to bring a lot of the commentary from you guys into it. So you guys are definitely more a part of the action than just watching Raw, cheering in the crowd, or doing whatever. You're definitely actually a part of the show. And then we also get to do instant input. You can tell us what you like, what you don't like. This guy sucks. Put this guy over. You have a lot of involvement.
I just want to point out how cool would it be to watch a wrestling show, and you make a comment in the chat room, and the color commentator sees that and actually calls you out and responds to it in the middle of a match. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. I ain't ever seen that before in wrestling. Have you?
I mean, that's what we're getting at, right? The number one frustration of the modern pro wrestling fan is not feeling heard, is feeling like the product that they're getting, the creative that they're getting is getting force-fed to them, and it's not in tune with what the desire of the people is, right? That's a common thing we've heard over and over the last few years. Well, we're basically, the format that we are trying to build is a template designed to do that exact opposite thing. Just like you said in the controversy creates cash. They're not listening, we're listening. We're listening in the moment. You make it, that happens. It gives the fans unprecedented access, and it gives the fans unprecedented ability to be heard and to influence the product. And I think any real hardcore pro wrestling fan, that is the thing above all else, is that they want to know that their opinion matters. They want to know that their passion for this business is not being ignored. And I'm here to tell you right now, Chongo don't ignore you, Rocky Mountain Pro don't ignore you. We're here to listen to the fans. We are here to give the fans what they want. If you want Chongo to put a nerd through a table, Chongo gonna put a nerd through a table. You want Chongo to put a nerd through a wall, Chongo to put a nerd through a wall. As long as it's okay with the boss man, Chongo will put the nerd through the thing. But the point is, the fans get to decide what that is. So that's what we're here to correct in the business right now.
If you would like to see Chongo chokeslam Mr. Jason through this table, please cheer 500 bits in the next 30 seconds.
Or slip Chongo a 20 under the table. He'll do anything.
Yeah, or, buy me a shot. We're good.
Nice. Nice, Joe. I'd like to add, can you go back one slide?
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. No, so going back to the fun part, that nice chocolate woman up there next to me, that's my wife.
Shout out to Miss April Island watching.
She was only going to come out from one episode to help with our lighting. Like 8 episodes later, she's still there because she has a passion for it, not only creativity, but the fun stuff that we're doing. And it's brought our marriage together even closer. So when it comes to Wednesdays, we're looking so excited we have more appreciation for how shows get structured. So we have a run sheet. We have a pre-production checklist. And so it's things that we look forward to. So not only when I try to do my own wrestling with tech, when it comes to the Chongo Don't show, we have a structure, a layout. I didn't know how to do a green screen months ago, but now I do. And now we know how to do those, the pre-tapes. And when the fans are saying, hey, the audio isn't good, we can take that feedback immediately, try to adjust it. So from a learning experience, it's great, and it brings that world of wrestling that I love and the world of tech that I do for my 9 to 5. It brings it together. So it's an amazing opportunity. I'm glad that this has come around. It's something that I haven't seen. I never thought that would be something I'd be a part of. So thank you very much.
I think we touched on all the points of that slide. Yeah. All right. Success and beyond. We are here to stay on Twitch. We want to make RMP synonymous with streaming. As I said, we have 15 plus shows, more and more content being added all the time. We do have the technology. We can invent it. Any of your input that you would like to provide to us, we would like to really reinvent wrestling from the ground up for the Twitch era, and bring it to you guys in a completely different environment than anyone's used to or have heard of before.
Here's really, we just met. I'm gonna ask for a favor. If what you've seen here resonates, if there's one thing that we can ask, please take this and take a look at the show for yourself. Take a look out on Twitch. And if you like it, and if we earn your word of mouth, please share that word of mouth with your friends. This is the whole goal of this is to make Rocky Mountain Pro synonymous with Twitch. This is the wrestling brand, if you will. It's like, oh man, yeah, I can watch this production over here, and it's got amazing production values, and it's slick and glossy and all that, but I can't influence it. Or I can talk to my friends and be a part of this. I can actually influence the course of a narrative, of a match, etc., and be engaged with the people creating it on an extremely personal level. And if you seriously, this is a movement. This is the very beginning of a movement, the reinvention of an entire genre. And if there's one thing that we can please ask of you, is if we impress you, if we earn your business, please share it. Because the more people start talking about it, the more people are going to go, wow, wait a minute, yeah, this is actually really different from what wrestling used to be. Just please join us. Please be a part of that.
And if you don't, Chongo's going to find you.
That's right. And if you don't, then you're late to the party, right? You never want to be the last person at the party who heard the album, right? You want to be the guy that's telling everybody about the album, then 2 weeks later they come back, oh my God, right? Yep. You want to be at the forefront. Rocky Mountain Pro is at the forefront. We are blazing the trail right now, and we're asking you guys to join us. Get on board with us. Tell the people that you know that love pro wrestling for what it really is. Raw, real, in the moment entertainment, right? We're doing this live. They put Chongo in front of a green screen live. You don't think that's crazy? Take
Yeah.
those down. What do you think happens?
We put Chongo in a VR headset.
Yeah, and you know what? Hey,
Very true.
that was not my fault. You know, that
It was an audible.
Hey. But that's the kind of thing that we're doing right now, right? This is not. I think that a thing that happens in all things is the more money gets behind it, the more corporations and shareholders and things like that, the more sanitized it gets, the more formulaic it gets. To use an analogy, I think about things like the NFL Combine, right? If you were to apply those same principles to pro wrestling, right, that you need to be this and have these measurables, then the statistical anomalies, the dusty roads, would never exist because they don't fit into those boxes, right? You lose those unique statistical outliers when you try to make something too formulaic. And what has happened is that's very clear in the product that we see at the big stage right now. But that's not what we're doing. We're going the opposite direction. And if you really care about this business and you really care about pro wrestling, join us, man. Help us build this movement because this thing is going to be powerful. There's a lot of nerds out there on a lot of Twitter dudes and a lot of nerd boards and Twitter boxes, and we want to reach them because we want them to have a voice in this entertainment business that we all love, you know? So help us do that. You guys have the opportunity to help us provide what is sorely missing and sorely needed in the business right now. So this is something we can do hand in hand. This isn't just us. You know, when you see Hogan reaching out to the fans to get that power, this is us right now. You can give us that power, right? Help us build this movement into what it can be, because then what it's going to do, we're going to knock down the doors. And then they're not going to be able to say, oh, we're just going to stick to this formulaic, whoop-de-woo, sanitize this and that. We are going to, just like the Monday Night Wars did, we are going to change the game. We are going to take this medium and be able to apply it and have a new level of fan interaction. And it's a really beautiful and exciting time. And I'm excited to be up here.
Can you tell?
This is actually.
Wait, but really quick. Chongo's over here dropping big words like formulaic. Chongo, are you low-key got a little bit of nerd in you, Chongo?
Chongo had a mimosa earlier.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, I did. Yeah. Chongo has a lot of love for this business. Chongo has a lot of love for Matt Yaden, who brought Chongo out to Rocky Mountain Pro. I have a lot of love for everybody up on this panel. I have a lot of love for fans of what I'm fans of, right? We all grew up as fans of this stuff, right? That's why we're up here. And what we're giving you guys is the opportunity to interact and to have, imagine the feeling when a wrestler sees your sign at a show or gives you that high five when he's walking down the aisle, right? It's that little interpersonal connection. We're in this new day and age with all this technology and shit like that. Chongo that's not really my game, but I do understand the value of interacting on a personal level with the fan base, and that's what the Twitch medium gives us. And so I'm excited I want to have as much interplay with the fan base as possible.
Speaking of that,
And
Joel,
Trey wrote all those big words
Q&A?
on my wrist.
Absolutely.
I do what
But
I
before
can.
we get into the Q&A, I think, I don't know, I think we should kind of swing the deal on some of these Twitch events we'll be doing. I don't know, what do you think would be appropriate?
You think we should put our money where our mouth is right now? So, we've been talking a good game about reinventing wrestling and making you a part of it. How about we walk the talk? Right now. Right now, in front of you. This is something that...
Right.
Yeah.
This will be defended by the Twitch champion. This will be defended by the Twitch champion at our events that we'll be doing. I believe the first one we'll be doing is late this December.
December 29th from the Rack House Pub in Denver, Colorado. We'll have the first ever Twitch-specific tentpole event, and we're going to crown our first Twitch champion, and then moving forward, we will really interact with the fans on who the Twitch champion defends the title against and what shows he's going to defend it on, and kind of figuring out exactly how we want to make sure that you guys are a huge part of how this title and those shows play out. So,
Yeah. So as an example, let's say that you, our audience, who are part of this, you get to vote on what kind of match is it going to be. Is it going to be a ladder match, a chair match, a table match, a number of matches? Who?
She had that one locked and loaded.
You get to vote on, are there going to be weapons in this match? You get to vote on, is there going to be a special guest ref? Like you've got the Twitch champion fighting, and then all of a sudden, do we want Chongo as the special guest ref? Chongo is available for weddings and children's birthday
Children's
parties.
birthday parties. I'm a hit with the kids. Chongo love the kids.
Chongo's not allowed within 200 feet of a school.
Hey, you know what? That statute has cleared. We've gone an appropriate amount of years since that was
But
an issue.
really quick, like December 29th with this 10-pole Twitch event with the Twitch title and all that. Here's what's cool, because y'all are here in this building, y'all are watching this stream, we're announcing all this. Again, as the guy that's like writing and putting all that together, not only can you vote, but because you're here watching this, DM Reddick RMP and let me know what you want to see. Again, that doesn't mean like every person's like we're gonna get everything in there, but when we start hearing like what y'all want, then we start putting these shows together. I mean, we still leave some surprise. Like you're not gonna know what's coming, but imagine if you could email the guy writing shows at WWE, just like, hey man, I always thought this would be cool. And like 3 weeks later, the idea you came up with, like that just happened, like on TV. A bunch of other people like made that happen. Like that brings us all back to sit in our bedroom with our little action figures and making our own shows. Like that's a cool moment. That's cool interaction. That's what we're gonna be able to do with all this.
So the big thing is this just became real. This is not theoretical. This is an event. This has been planned out. Money has been spent on this. There is actually going to be a Twitch champion in a wrestling promotion. This is happening December 29th. It's real. It's real, and it only works if everyone's like, yeah, I want to see Chongo fight, and then you go down the roster and you vote on it. I want to see these weapons, and you vote on it. Make this your wrestling event, and we will do it for you. This is real.
Yeah, it's literally the thing that the fans in pro wrestling are missing right now, is that ability to influence the product.
All right, we got a couple more minutes. I don't know if anybody here in the audience has a question that you would like answered. Please step up to the microphone. And we would
Wow, she's
love to
sprinting.
answer
ready to
it.
go. Hello.
Hi, my name is Trisha Angelique. I am the backstage interviewer and personality for the CWF Network, also known as Cosplay Wrestling Federation. We also got partnered just around the same time like you guys, because I think around that time Twitch was really trying to get in real life streaming more and more wrestling. We do cosplay, we do wrestling, but it's more of an improv show. So we travel to different anime conventions and we put on like a show, but we don't do the wrestling just because we're not professionals like you guys. But I have two questions.
Sure.
One is how, with such a large group and members, so many members of you guys, how do you deal with all the monetary like bits that come in, all the donations and stuff through the platform of Twitch? How do you like use that if you're allowed? If it's an NDA, I understand, but revenue to come in, and how does it help the people who do the show? How do you distribute it to the talents, and where does it go and stuff like that? And number two, my second question, what can TwitchCon and Twitch do for us who are in this channel, this space, to promote us better? Like last year, Kaiju was here and they had the wrestling stage. I don't see a wrestling stage here at TwitchCon this year. What are they doing? What can they do? What can TwitchCon do to help us, to better ourselves, to get us out there more? Okay, so.
Well, to answer your second question, they could at TwitchCon 2019 book Chongo versus the internet.
It's my oldest, most fierce rival, and I'm gonna whoop his ass when I get my hands on the
Let's
internet.
bring in a
believe
real
that.
wrestling stage again.
Along those lines, there was actually, I think it's okay talking about this. There was an idea that we proposed. It just logistically was extremely difficult. We have the Mercury Pro Wrestling Academy. We thought about, could we potentially do like wrestling lessons or set up, a ring and actually demonstrate some of this. It's just that logistically, that's extremely difficult to pull off. So, what I can tell you, at least from the standpoint of Twitch, and I'm not saying this just because I'm up here and Twitch is live streaming it. Twitch has actually been really awesome to work with, legitimately awesome. I mean, it used to be in the terms of service, you couldn't have any stream that wasn't specifically video gaming related. And that's changed because of you. So the best advice I can offer there is if you have your liaison at Twitch, reach out to him or her. Stay in contact with them as much as possible because TwitchCon, this whole event is a celebration of all things Twitch. And at least in my personal experience, they want it to be as successful as possible. So that's part two of the question. Part one of the question, which was the money, and how bits and revenue and all that. Matt hoards all of it, and the rest of us live in cardboard boxes under the 101.
As the vice president, I get a refrigerator-sized cardboard box, though. So. And the
Basically,
company scooter.
The best answer to that is, and this is all very new. Like I said, we just started in May, and as things continue to grow, that money right now goes into being able to produce everything. There's Twitch, there's TV, we're on TV in the UK on the Fight Network, so we're producing all that stuff. All that money kind of pools in because right now we're all working together to try to be able to produce this, and that creates the ability to produce more and produce it better. And as this continues to grow, then we can see what shows are bringing in the most, who's making the most, and then that can be passed on to the talent and the personalities. So. But guys like Chongo and Trey and people that are consistently streaming, we'll be able to kind of see who's been running it longer, who's earned this and that. And so it all kind of goes into one pool, and then we can decide, just like any television show would have, what that television show produces, and then you determine who's most responsible for producing it, or even a live event, who's the biggest draw. So it all will come in and then get dispersed amongst the talent that are bringing in the bits.
Yeah, and I add that there. So yeah, putting on a wrestling show is not free. It takes a lot. Like you have the venue, if you have security, all these things. So the contributions that you guys make legitimately do go to the show. So
Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, let's go left and right. We'll go start on your question.
So this is something you've touched on, but I'd just like to see if you could elaborate on it, which is the idea that although Twitch arose from the ashes of Justin TV, which was like a multi-genre platform, Twitch was and still is to a large extent like mostly a gaming platform. I was just wondering how you plan to sort of overcome that barrier and that perception in people's minds of it being a gaming platform, and get the message out there that it's no longer just a game platform. It has other things, i.e., for example, in this case, wrestling, on it, and just get the message out there. And also, I vote for Chango in a pole match.
Did you say a Chongo on the pole match? Because we don't need to bring him down off the pole.
I think that's a different streaming
I think
service.
that might happen after Bar 30 tonight.
Jason,
So-
you have something on that?
Yeah, in terms of how Twitch is evolving, there's two parts to this. The first part is Twitch itself is changing the nature of its product. It wasn't that long ago the IRL section did not exist. Talk shows did not exist. Just chatting, music, arts and crafts, all this stuff did not exist. That changed because of you, consumer demand. The wrestling section is a perfect example of that. Now, there is still, if you say Twitch to a lot of people, they still have an image of Twitch that is a few years potentially out of date. That's all just about video gaming and what have you. It's kind of like in 2005 when YouTube was invented. I don't know about you guys. My initial reaction was, YouTube? Who the hell's going to watch this amateur hour crap? Well, now it's the second biggest search engine in the world. So the ways in which it grows and changes beyond that image. First off, take a look at what's happened in the last 12 months. Washington Post is now on Twitch. Wow, okay. I think I saw Apple on Twitch. I mean, Red Bull TV is on Twitch. NFL Thursday Night Football is on Twitch. Professional athletics do not broadcast to a new platform unless they've done a pro forma, done their homework, and seen there's some serious potential growth opportunity here. So all of these things contribute to the same funnel, which is word of mouth. And that word of mouth is, hey, wait a minute, Twitch isn't just, guys playing video games anymore. It's actually branched out into a hell of a lot more than that. And you're starting to see that in some of the mainstream media coverage. Who here has been watching any of the mainstream media coverage of TwitchCon just the last 72 hours? Right? I mean, it's gone from, it's basically us playing video games to, oh, now, hey, wait a minute. There's people making a lot of money at this. There's a lot of non-gaming content on this platform. Every major media platform has a tipping point where it goes mainstream. ESPN, when ESPN first started, I don't know if anyone here remembers the early days of ESPN. They were so starved for content, they broadcast people playing horseshoes. I'm not even, you remember that? I'm not making this up. The content evolves as the platform and the audience grows and the demand grows. And I firmly believe the next 6 to 9 months are really, it's already started. The next 6 to 9 months are really the major tipping point for Twitch where it starts to go beyond the brand identity that you mentioned.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
And then just a really quick follow-up on that is part of the reason we're uniquely positioned to bring pro wrestling to Twitch is we're not just a pro wrestling company bringing wrestling to Twitch. We're a bunch of gamers that are already on Twitch, like that happen to also be into pro wrestling, and it's not necessarily something we have to work against. It's something we work with because those two communities overlap huge, and that can only help us. Again, we're not here to replace anybody. We're here to do something different. And so, like I said, I don't think that's an obstacle. I think that's not a bug. That's a feature, and that's something cool we get to work with and integrate into our show.
Absolutely. Thank you for your question. Let's get you on the left.
There we go. I'm just going to hold up to my face here so I don't have to bend over. As a fellow wrestler from the state of Michigan, first of all, I just want to thank you guys so much for this. This is phenomenal. A lot of the promotions that I've worked for have come to me because they knew I'd done streaming, but this is, like you said, something new. And you guys had some amazing ideas I never could consider. But my question would be is a lot of the smaller independent promotions, they look at Twitch as a way as a drawback or more of a con because they feel that they're going to lose their attendance and everything. So my question to you guys is, when you first considered doing Twitch, was that one of the things that popped in your mind, and what would you have to say to overcome that for anybody that's in the wrestling business that's wanted to do something for their company as well?
I think there are times like when I've been promoting a show and I say if you can't make it, you can watch us on Twitch, and you think like, oh man, are there people that are going to go, oh, I can just stay at home and watch it for free? But you run into that same problem with TV too. Like if they know they can see it on TV, then why would they go in? But they still show up. So I think the whole idea, like Chongo touched on earlier, with your television show is your commercial to come see the live event, and there's nothing like seeing it live. And anybody that's come to it live versus seeing it on TV. They want to be a part of it live. It's a different experience. The cool thing about Twitch is now it's a TV viewing experience that's also interactive. So now we're providing people, I think, just more ways to interact with us. And I think people will kind of choose what they prefer. And if you reach enough people, that's the beauty of Twitch, and that's where the advantage is. We reach so many people now that are going to see it, and maybe they can't make every event, so they watch the ones they can't, but then they're going to want to be like, I can come be in the audience, and we can get creative with interacting our audience with the people on the Twitch audience. So if you can make people realize that, hey, if I go, I get this experience, and then the audience interacting on Twitch can then see me there, and like it's just finding ways to make sure that you know that if you come, there's this experience, if you watch at home, there's this experience, so you can't lose. And if people are cheering and they're supporting you at home because of what you're doing, there's not much of a difference between that when you're looking at the live attendance money-wise and versus if someone's like, oh, I'm just going to support them on Twitch anyway, you're kind of getting the same thing. So,
along those lines, something that you mentioned that I think really feeds into this. Who here is a gamer? Who here is a wrestling fan? There's a hell of a lot of cross-pollination between those demographics, aren't there? Let's face, I mean, I've dumped 1,200 plus hours into Dragon Age Inquisition, and I'm a wrestling fan. Okay? There is a lot, oh God, I hate using this word. There's a lot of synergy between the two groups. So if the concern is, are we going to lose audience, at the gate, at the event, No, it's adding on top of what you're already doing. I mean, there's X number of people in this room. Chances are there's probably Y number of people watching this on the live stream, and Y is probably greater than X. So it's additional. It's not taking away from the revenue model of getting people in the door. It's actually broadening your audience so more people want to get in the door.
And you put it out there to your live audience, come be part of, like in our instance, you can watch it live on Twitch, or you can be part of the live Twitch stream. So just like you're selling, you see any promotions do it all the time. If they have TV, it's a TV taping. They make sure they let you know we're taping for TV. They're not doing that so you won't come and then just watch on TV. They're doing it so you know I can be part of something big. If I sit in the front row, maybe the camera will pick me up and I'll be seen on TV. So I think kind of the same formula in that regard is what we have to do as promoters to make sure people show up.
And then just really quick. Just to kind of actually make a really clear distinction from what you said, it's not an either and or. And one of the best features of partnering with Twitch is you can bring Twitch up on this. And so you can come to the live event, and if you've ever gone to like live pro wrestling, like one thing you're missing is the commentary. You've got the live commentary for the show in your pocket. You've got the interaction with the guys you see 10 feet away, sitting there calling all the action, and you can sit 10 feet away and heckle them from there, like without yelling on top and all that as well. So just a really quick, more concise answer to your question is, it's not going to cannibalize our business because it adds to our live events, and it also gives them a way to catch up on all our old content, to interact with the wrestlers and other things as well. But that's going to be a big part of what we do, is telling the people that are live in the building to download the Twitch app on their phone, to log in and to interact with the show while you're sitting there watching it.
And just real quick, if you had another question, guys, like find us outside of here, and like, we'd be happy to answer.
Or shoot us a
anything that we
DM
didn't get
on
a chance to.
Rocky Mountain Pro on Twitch. And I will also be having some of our contact information. Go ahead and reach out to us. We'd love to answer all your questions. Sorry we didn't get to everybody's today, but we do thank you for all of your questions.
8 p.m. tonight, Pacific time, live Chongo Don't Show. We'll be answering more questions there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, look us up.
That's right.
Take
Thank
some
you,
pictures
guys.
of Chongo. Chongo doesn't bite, I swear.
All right. So if you guys prowrestling.academy, twitch.tv/Rocky Mountain Pro. Check us out on Twitter at TheRockyMTNPro, Instagram at TheRockyMTNPro, and you can also, what I missed?
Don't forget to get chokeslammed by Chongo on the way out.
RMPWrestling.com, MercuryProWrestling.academy.
Thanks, everybody. We appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you.